This is the KJ Singh Show with your host KJ Singh. So Labour has become a racist mafia. We have only 4 weeks to go until the general election, and it appears that they're just pulling out all the stops in order to pull out anyone in the Labour Party who is just has a smidgen of values and principles. And it's not a matter of left wing or right wing. It's about whatever's politically convenient to the establishment of the current Labour Party, whoever are their donor sources, whoever are lobby to them and have greater influence over the Labour Party. That's what they appeal to. They're not there for the principles. They're not for the values. They're there to serve the powerful interests other than the people, other than grassroots interests. The deselection of Faiza Shaheen is so disgusting. This is somebody who is incredibly qualified. This is somebody with a PhD, somebody who is a highly popular person in their constituency, and also is really, raising the voice when it comes to moral issues of our day. Somebody who should be front and center of the so-called Labour Party. I think we've forgotten the roots of the Labour Party. Originally, it was supposed to be for Labour, and originally it was supposed to be for social justice issues. It was on the front lines of the LGBTQ and pro-immigration, pro-human rights agenda. But now the Overton window shifted so far to the right that even moderates and all the left-wingers in the Labour Party, even the ones who've been deselected, are moderates. It's not that they're calling for communist overthrow of the political system. No, they're just calling for basic, elementary values and principles that are the foundation of the Labour Party being actually put into policy. For example, the fact that it's called Labour Party would insinuate, would show that it is a party that is for workers' rights. But it appears that Labour Party have been very lackadaisical when it comes to trade union and worker rights. I mean, they didn't really support Mick Lynch in his strikes for RMT, train strikes. And I was going to say Tony Blair, and of course, that is a Freudian slip. Keir Starmer, who is a wannabe Tony Blair, he's basically Tony Blair but without the charisma. He promised that he won't raise taxes on the super rich. So what's even the point of Labour Party other than to be an understudy for the Conservative Party? There's very little to differentiate the two, because the removal of Faiza Shaheen says, who should be, somebody who should be championed, because of course we are seeing one of the greatest shameful acts in human history, which is a genocide inflicted on the people of Gaza. And Faiza Shaheen, amongst others, should be, something that the Labour Party should be proud of. But it appears that because of her, the fact that she has been somewhat vocal about the issue of Gaza, but also the fact that of Islamophobia in the party, that she's been deselected. Now, some of the reasons that, of course, when you're trying to deselect someone, you make a case for it. You put across pieces of evidence. Their pieces of evidence, the Labour Party's pieces of evidence for deselection, were the liking of tweets. This is where we come to. The liking of tweets, not even extreme by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, she liked a sketch by Jon Stewart, who is an American Jewish comedian. And she liked also a tweet that is mentions the existence of the Israeli lobby. Now, I don't know about you, but the Israeli lobby obviously exists. To deny that an Israeli lobby exists would be to deny the fact that, British weather isn't shit. it's as it's so blatant that that lobbies exist. Even the Saudi lobby exists, the Indian lobby exists, the American lobby exists. But to deny that Israeli lobby, which is probably the most powerful lobby, one of the powerful lobbies in that are influencing UK government, from Conservative to Labour Party. I mean, you wouldn't have Labour Friends of Israel. You wouldn't have Margaret Hodge in a photo shoot with Isaac Herzog, a war criminal, of course, as implicated by the ongoing genocide case in the International Court of Justice. So you cannot say that an Israeli lobby does not exist, simply because an argument can be made by bad faith individuals with an agenda to deflect away from the Israeli lobby by saying that it's you're making a trope, you're making an illusion, or you're implying that there's a Jewish lobby. But no, the two are different. In fact, to imply that Judaism and Israel are the same thing is actually anti-Semitic, according to the very definition of anti-Semitism. You have to make a distinction between individuals of a certain political persuasion and people of a certain ethnicity. We cannot make a monolith of all Jewish people. But obviously, there are certain things that are given when it comes to people who prescribe to Zionism or prescribe to the support of the right-wing government of Israel, which have a huge consensus. They all pretty much agree that what's going on in Gaza is a given. The genocide that is happening is a given. Something like 90+% of Israeli population agree that the genocide should go on. So even though they would deny that genocide is happening, even though there's plenty of evidence to suggest that they see no difference between Hamas and Palestinian people. They see no difference between they see no problem with collective punishment. They see no issues with the raising or the complete desecration of and destruction of Gaza. So that's where we are right now. We've got Labour Friends of Israel who are supporting Labour Party. That's a lobby group that is particularly influential and powerful. Conservatives also got the Conservative Friends of Israel too. So to deny that there's an Israeli lobby is to deny reality. We're not children. Do not insult our intelligence. But Faiza Shaheen is the latest in a long string of attacks on non-white women who happen to speak their voice and also happen to be in the right side of history. The first black woman MP who served in Labour Party for 40 years or so, Diane Abbott. There's a big question mark over her position, her ability to stand for the Labour Party. And there was a huge disciplinary process for 11 months when she said the most obvious thing, which is absolutely, unquestionably true. Just as the Israeli lobby exists, it's unquestionably true that Diane Abbott was right in saying that, black people experience non-white people, non-white people, Asians, experience racism in a way which is different from those people Jewish, Irish, travelers. They experience racism in a different way because people who are Irish and Jewish can pass as white. And so there is a different level of privilege at play here. This is obvious. This is common sense. Again, we're being gaslit and we're being patronized into believing that this is racist. It's not. She said the obvious. And she should never apologize. But after all this, disciplinary process and, just assassination of our character, Keir Starmer, and the Labour Party in general, there was a question about her position in the party, and there was a point that she's being dismissed from the party. It turns out because Keir Starmer doesn't want to blow back from this, doesn't want to tarnish the position or the opinion polls of Labour, who are 20 to 25 points ahead of Conservative Party. They're going to win by a landslide. So he doesn't want to tarnish that, naturally. He doesn't want to tarnish the incredible good work that he has not done. Of course, the reason why Conservatives are losing so badly is because of Conservatives' own undoing. Keir Starmer had nothing to do with it. In fact, he's quite unpopular in terms of leaders. But he just so happens to be the one in charge of the party that is not the Tory party. And let's be very clear, with the attacks on Shaheen, Faiza Shaheen, with Diane Abbott being attacked, literally in the papers, Jess Phillips literally saying that she would, told her to F off when she hadn't, but she did it to attack her character. There's also other non-white MPs within Labour who suffered more than their fair share of, just attacks on their character. Kate Asamoah, on Holocaust Remembrance Day, she said, Gaza should be remembered on Holocaust Day, just as other genocides. And she had her whip removed for a little while, and after a disciplinary procedure, she was brought back. But it appears that it's not just the fact that they are not non-white. It's also the fact that Labour should have some sort of understanding that non-white people have an understanding of oppression that is unique to non-white people. This goes without saying. They experience prejudice in a way that may not be understood by the average, Keir Starmer, who experienced privilege all their lives. And so this is where we are. We have like these, white supremacists in charge, the white supremacist mafia in charge. They're happy to take in Tory politicians who've defected, who've previously been incredibly far right, like Natalie, Tory MP. And they've also accepted Luke Ackhurst, who's a Zionist lobby founder of I Believe in Israel, into the Labour fold at a time when a genocide is happening. Meanwhile, they've kicked out Faiza Shaheen, who's incredibly far more talented than any of these people. But perhaps they fear that she's got a powerful voice. She's intelligent. She's articulate. She could be in the bid for a leadership of the party in the future. Maybe they're stopping her in her tracks. But it just goes to show that, the Labour Party has lost its foundation, lost its principles, and it's just there to act as an understudy for the Conservative Party. So long string, and I've just only talked about a few examples. There are so many other examples of how the Labour Party is complicit with a white supremacist worldview that centres elites, that centres Zionists and centres capitalist voices over those who have principles. And it's not about being pragmatic, because Labour are already in ahead. And I plead with anyone watching, please do not vote Labour, because they're already going to win anyway. Conservatives are going to lose anyway. So the best that we can do is cede some ground to actual left-wing parties, like the Green Party. The Green Party are a very safe bet. It's, I believe, Zach Polanski, the leader of the Green Party. He himself is very, left-wing liberal, and he's against the genocide. He's also happens to be Jewish too. But they still, the right-wing establishment still won't stop attacking him for, his anti-genocide voice. They might call him a self-hating Jew. But it's just goes to show the madness of our certain establishment politics, where we have two-party system, but really it's just one party. It's playing musical chairs between the same person. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We have to cede some ground to the left. Labour Party are done. They're a racist mafia.